She's a cheerleader and just 14 years old.
I just feel something has happened to her.
A 36-year-old father of two.
The body's so badly burned.
The body was unidentifiable.
The body located west of town in the asphalt plant has been positively identified as the body of 14-year-old Alicia Debolt.
Positive ID only possible through dental records.
There's no doubt in my mind that this was a sexually motivated crime.
Longoria tells us he only met Debolt once.
I do not know where she was.
Charged in court this morning with capital murder and criminal sodomy.
She went to a party, my wife's birthday party, with her boyfriend. They were there. That's the last I contacted her.
For those of you just joining us, the secret grand jury in the state of Kansas hands down a murder indictment, murder 1 and felony charges of sodomy against this 36-year-old father of 2 and the disappearance and ultimate death of a 14-year-old cheerleader, Alicia Debolt. We are taking your calls, but first to Mark Class, president and founder of Class Kids Foundation. Weigh in, Mark. What do you think about the defendant's behavior in court today, basically taking on the little girl's family?
Which is exactly what happened in our situation in court. And I'll tell you what, these guys are among the worst cowards in the world. They target women, they target children. He has all of this bluster when he's surrounded by bailiffs and officers of the court, knowing that nobody can get at him. I'll tell you exactly what I did. When he stared me down, and I happened to be on the witness stand, I just looked back at him, and I didn't blink, and I didn't drop my gaze, and eventually he did, and I never had a problem with that punk again.
We are taking your calls out to Margaret in Kansas. Hi, Margaret.
Hello.
Hi, dear. What's your question?
I wanted to know about the 19-year-old. When it all started, they said that there was a 19-year-old that picked her up for the party.
You're absolutely right, Margaret. Out to Natisha Lance, our producer on the story. Natisha, she's right. Margaret in Kansas recalls distinctly a 19-year-old man, apparently her boyfriend, I don't know, friend, picked her up to go to a party. Is that true, or did this guy pick her up? What happened?
That's a question that we asked the Attorney General's office today, Nancy, about that 19-year-old. Did he exist? Did he come to the home? There was a statement that was read at Alicia's funeral just 4 days ago, and in that statement they said that they wanted to teach people a lesson about who their children are going out with and who they're with, and having open, honest conversations with them about who they're with. So it is a possibility that there was no 19-year-old, and that Adam Longoria is the one who picked up Alicia Debolt on the 21st.
To Dr. Leslie Austin, psychotherapist, whatever happened to the guy coming to the door and ringing the doorbell, and the father or mother answering the door and staring at them, and then letting the girl go? What happened to that?
Well, you know, when we first
Why could you just honk the horn and the girl runs out?
When we first talked about this case, that was the exact thing I said. Where were the parents, and why was she going out with a 19-year-old guy if she was 14, if she did?
Forget about 19, Leslie. We're talking about 36.
Anybody. Why was she going out with anybody without the parents interviewing him and talking to him? And I don't want to condemn the parents in their time of pain, but it's something for parents to consider. You need to know who your kids are hanging out with, because this kind of typical sociopath with his defiant behavior will do anything he wants to make himself the victim.
To Dr. Titus Duncan, general surgeon in the Atlanta Medical Center, you know, Richard Herman says there's not any way to prove sodomy because the body was burned. Explain, doctor, how it can be proved.
Well, you know, when the body is burned beyond recognition, that's just the outside layer. You still have the cavities inside the body, the anus and the mouth, and in the foregut, that you can actually have some DNA specimen there. So just because the outside skin layers are burned, doesn't mean that the inside core is burned as well. So you probably will have some DNA evidence inside that body core.
Did you hear that, Richard Herman?
I think he's wrong, Nancy.
To court this morning, this time with a court-appointed attorney. His only response today was a yeah to the judge when asked if he understood that he now faces charges of capital murder and criminal sodomy.